Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Out in YouTube land. Lots of love to everybody. I'm Heidi Skok here at Skok Studio Vocal Instruction, and I just wanted to pop on today because I have the great privilege of speaking with a singer who I work with here at Skok Studio, and we want to chat for just a few minutes with Miss Luana Berger about her wonderful journeys towards finding her voice. Because I know for a fact, and I'm one of them, that there are so many singers out there that the path isn't so easy to discern, what you should be singing and what kind of voice you have and how you should be doing it. And it becomes such a journey of a struggle that so many people quit. And Luana has a very interesting path that I'd like to chat about for just a little bit today, and how she is finding her way. And so I'd welcome to Luana.
Hi.
It's so good to chat with you a little bit today. Thank you for coming on with me.
Sure.
So, Luana, can you tell us a little bit about how you started with your voice? If you could give us a little background as to how you started it out, that would be wonderful.
Um, I grew up in a pretty musical family. My mom was also a classical singer, kind of quasi pro when she could be. She claims that she sang the most when she had me. I'm the youngest child, so when she was pregnant with me, so that's why she thinks that I'm the singer of the family, because my two sisters don't sing. And then my dad, not musical himself, but he listened to records of operas and musicals and jazz standards. And so I've always had a love for music, and I knew I could sing at an early age, so I joined choir when I could. And then I was part of the first all state choir group at my high school ever, so that was really special. But I didn't know that I could, so I was training to sing and stuff, but it was still kind of like a hobby. So, and I guess I just didn't have the nurturing back then to know that I could go to school for music or something, or like pursue it as a career. So I went to school in the science world. I got a degree in astrophysics, but during that time, I was always on stage when I could be with the college, and so I've always been singing and performing, and I always kind of knew that that's what I wanted to do as a hobby and a career. Um, but it's always been difficult because I've had a very distinctive and unique voice that no one has been able really to they've been trying to put me in a box, set a fach for me, and I never fit. I never fit into any box, and it ranged from like, oh, I'm a coloratura, I'm a dramatic coloratura, no, I'm a mezzo, no, just a lyric. I mean, it's been all over the place, but I always kind of knew that I had a bigger voice, and I've always been drawn to the more dramatic stuff like Wagner and Verdi. Um, and I guess I finally have permission to sing it, and it feels good. Because before I didn't have
Yeah.
permission to sing it, by the people that were supposed to be guiding me and nurturing me. Um, no fault of their own. They did the best they could at the time, but I've been blatantly told, no, you don't have a big enough voice to sing that rep. No, you can't do that. Do this instead. Um, and when I did that instead, it didn't feel right. And so it's always been discouraging, because I knew that I wasn't singing the way that I was meant to sing, that felt right to sing inside. And so now I am at a place, as a full grown adult, knowing who I am, being comfortable in who I am, and being comfortable to say, no, that doesn't feel good. Yes, I want to do this. No, I don't want to do that. Um, and it's been great for me. And
Right.
I feel like I'm on the right path now for me.
Yes, that's so important to say for you, exactly, because you're so right when you say that the dear people try to put singers into a box. I understand that because I was one of them, and it took me, as you know, took me down a, believe it or not, a soprano road, and you can tell from my voice I'm the furthest thing from a soprano, which was very difficult. So I totally can relate to that. Could you tell us what happened to the vibrato of your voice? Let's talk technically for a few minutes. What happened to the vibrato of your voice when you were, brought into, when you were boxed, so to speak, into a smaller fach? Smaller meaning, not as open and dramatic and more lyrical or light coloratura as you had described. What happened to the vibrato and what happened to the breath? If and the overall tension, if you could describe that, that would be wonderful.
Well, up till now, I've always had tension and a really fast vibrato, and and it never, when older teachers, previous teachers wanted me to sing with a brighter tone or whatever, it never addressed those technical things, and then I would be labeled as having too fast of a vibrato. So so nobody wants me for that either. So, uh, so I just kind of set up to I just yeah, I had a fast vibrato, that tremolo kind of. I knew it wasn't natural, but I didn't know how to fix it.
Hmm.
And doing the work at the time didn't help anything. And I didn't, and then it got to the point where I didn't know what my voice was. I didn't know what a proper vibrato was because it was so ingrained into my muscle memory and that tension. Um, so so yeah, it's been a long struggle because I've always known I had a fast vibrato, which
Hmm.
but I didn't have a fast vibrato. I had a technical issue that we are now addressing, and now
Right.
it's stabilized and it does feel natural. And there's still that muscle memory still wants to come in, and I still have to fight with it. But things feel so much more natural for my body now.
That's right. That's right. And so, how, if you could tell our wonderful listeners today, singers who need what you're saying, because it's so relevant for them, um, how did you solve that? I mean, what did we end up doing? What did you end up building? How did we solve that vibrato issue?
It has to do with the breath, being connected to the breath, to and really grounding. And we did that by working on chest voice and working on the lower part of the register.
Right. So when we first started, I lowered your voice, right? We went, you worked mezzo, as you
Mm.
said, yes. And so building that chest voice did what for you? Did some really wonderful things.
Yeah, it has released a lot of the tension. It's helped me connect to the support and to my body as a whole. It stabilized the vibrato, um, and it's really enriched my other ranges, my upper ranges too.
I was going to say, and if you could talk with our wonderful singers out there, what is it doing for the top voice now? What is the step that you're doing now with this top voice of yours, the higher voice, the high
Just
notes?
applying that grounding and lack of tension to the top part to make it easier and more comfortable and more natural with the natural vibrato.
That's right. And so you've got a very natural vibrato happening in the middle and the lower part of the voice. So now what are we working? We're doing something to get it to do that on the top as well because the top still moves a little quick sometimes. So so describe, you just basically said it, but if you could describe it one more time, that would help people.
Um, I guess just taking the technique from working on the lows and slowly building up into the higher register, applying that technique as we go up into the higher register.
Right. So let's go back to the example of when we were working on the mezzo and we worked on the composer and it grounded it, but the movement of the music, would you agree that the pace of the music, the tempo of that aria and the just the it just you're the size of your voice just didn't fit into it,
Hmm.
and it had to be, it was tight, right, and it was still that driven kind of thing. Even when we worked on the Mozart, right, the Voi che sapete and whatever the other thing was, I can't remember now because we've left it for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, but so if you could tell singers the joy of not being afraid to explore. Because when you came to me, I didn't say you're this or the law. I said, let's go down to the bottom and work from there. And then we also did something which some people may be afraid to do, and that is we belted, right? You
Hmm.
went and we worked on belting, and you even took my belting classes that I offer. And so if you could tell people and what you were able to sing and what you're still able to sing today because of the base that you have built with the belt and the chest voice. Could we talk about that, please?
Yeah, the belting classes were so liberating. I mean, they helped technically, but also psychologically, spiritually. I mean, it was real scary at first, but then once I discovered that I can do it, and it's not gonna wreck your voice. In fact, if you do it right, it's gonna do nothing but help your voice and make it stronger.
Right.
So the technical aspects of belting properly um, are so wonderful, and I every singer ever should learn both belting technique and the classical head voice technique. Just learn it all, and you have to build your instrument.
Right.
You're not limited. Don't limit yourself by just staying with one set of tools, because there's other toolboxes out there that you can get help from. Um, and so I've just, it's just expanded my toolbox, and my technique is better, and it's built my voice. It's made it bigger, and it's made it more comfortable and easy, and I accept the bigness of it now. Because before it was scary, it's still kind of scary. I'm still working on that. But I can walk into, I can go sing karaoke and sing my favorite rock bands, or, Janis Joplin, with pride and confidence, and and it impresses people too. They're like, wow, you can really sing. They're impressed by the opera too, but there's something to be said about whipping out Bobby McGee, something that everybody can sing along with, and doing it well, and doing it with joy and confidence. And then taking that joy and confidence and just liberation back into the classical world. That's
Yeah.
been helpful too. So that's the more psychological element of it, because the classical
Right.
world is so structured, and heaven forbid you sing a wrong note or sing a wrong rhythm, or if it's not done exactly the way it's written on the page, you have no business. And that's not true. We're artists. We have different interpretations on how we do things. We make mistakes, and that's all okay. And so to take that more, what's the word I'm looking for? Just that sense of ease from the belting and the singing, the rock and roll and singing the pop, into the classical world, and treating it that way, while using the proper technique for Wagner or
Right.
Verdi. And it's joyful again. I
Right.
enjoy singing again, because before I just felt so put down. I was doing everything wrong. My vibrato's too fast. I'm too tense. I'm not singing the right songs. And now I'm singing what I want to sing, and it's fun, and I like to work. I like to put in the work for it, and I'm on a path that I can see my goals. Like I'm progressing very clearly now, whereas before I was kind of, like coasting, or just like plateaued completely and not
Right.
progressing at all, and kind of just being like, well, maybe this isn't the career choice for me. Maybe I don't need to do this anymore if I'm not progressing, maybe. But now I am progressing, and now I'm back on that path.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And since you've been working with me at Skoke Studio, you're a professional singer now. You get jobs. Can you talk about that? You have a job singing each week.
Yeah, I just back in November I auditioned for soloist for the Christian Science Church in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I got it, and so now I am their soloist, which is a really, really big deal to me. My
Yeah.
kind of my first steady professional singing job.
Yeah.
Not a gig job. It's I am contracted to sing all
Every week.
year.
Yeah. That's wonderful. That's what every singer aspires to. And and then you got a teaching job now too. So now you're passing along your gems
Hmm.
that you have picked up and you're helping somebody else, and that's just wonderful. That's a wonderful thing. Yeah, and you know what else? Before we close it out, I think because this has been a wonderful conversation, um, can you let everybody know And I think the whole conversation has already let everybody know that you don't need to necessarily go and get a degree in voice to sing
Right.
and to figure your voice out. You're doing that, and there's so many singers that spend thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and are still and they're in debt, for life, and they're having to wait on tables and do all these things, and you're proving that you don't have to do that, that you can master your voice and go forward, and you do have a master plan. Do you want to keep that plan to yourself, or do you want to share what your plans are? That's up
Um,
to you.
I mean, I want to continue being a working singer and just be in the world of performing arts in whatever capacity, mainly performing, but behind the stage as well. Um, and but as far as like specifically singing goes, I'm building an aria package and learning roles, and so that I am really the goal now right now is to really solidify these five pieces in the different languages, and know that I can do the roles if I was ever hired for that role. So not just arias, but know the role
The
itself,
role. Right.
and take it to auditions, take it to agents, and start really auditioning and working towards that.
That's great. Well, I think this has been wonderful. I was so grateful. Luana found me through one of my lives, I think. I think it was a live on Your Voice is Worthy or something like that, wasn't it?
I think
Something?
it was some Facebook group. I think the Empowered Singers group. Someone shared. I think someone shared one of your videos, and then I went into that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was talking about, your voice is worthy. It is. Everybody's voice is worthy. And you have to keep that centeredness always within yourself, and you're really learning how to do that. Your worth doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within you and your own knowledge of where you're headed with yourself. So you're really doing that, and it's so exciting, and I'm just so glad that you're on this journey, and I'm thankful that you're on the journey with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Lots of love, and lots of love to everybody out there. And thank you so much, Luana, for